Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another episode of... The Music Freaks truly is the golden goose that keeps on laying eggs, isn't it? And not just from me, for my measly corner, but from outside sources, whether or not that's, people making, fan videos about, what the cast might do in Dares, or, some sort of fan music video of some kind, or in this case, entire series. This is not the first time I've seen somebody attempt to do a sequel series to the Music Freaks itself. But it is the first time that I actually am talking about it on camera, so there is that. There is another one out there that I'm aware of that I intend to get to at some point, but this is the one that, this particular one today came out 2 days ago, and Tamsin got it recommended to her and sent it to me. So, practically my unofficial recommended source, of course, is Discord, so here we are, basically. We're taking a break from Gacha Fest stuff, and from voice-acted Gacha stuff in general, because I'm pretty sure this one is actually, 2 days ago, and this one is completely unvoiced. But that's what the commenter said, and there's no attempt to do anything. This was like months ago. I mean, I might have misread it, and it said 2 months, but no, I thought this just came out, to be honest. Maybe, I'll just quickly check that. Yeah, no, 1 day ago. Sorry, I misspoke. 1 day ago by YouTube's reckoning. Oh wait, no, that was 2 days ago. November 12th. Yeah, okay. So no, it's the other one is actually years old by this point. So yeah, we'll see what the modern Gacha Life 2, as it is branded, fan series of the Music Freaks is all about this time. Because, well, I mean, I know what it's all about because it says in the title. It's about the next gens, plural. Gens plural. Okay. Interesting. But sure. Let's go ahead and let's see what that's about. Rather than one generation, but several. While Ghost Kitty writes technically half a script instead of the full one, I suppose. We'll see. And it's for Tamsin specifically, who was the one who recommended this video, so there you go. Anyway, with enough preamble, I suppose, without further ado, on with the review. Coming up next on Rose Meadows' hottest radio station, here's Tonight by the up-and-coming Jake Sterling! Well, we know what he's up to. I was about to say, I had to turn that, all the way up. I never turn up any, videos all the way up on StreamYard. It's like, wait a minute, is there, actual sound coming through this? Apparently there is. Dad, turn that off! Okay, and also, I like how it's, slightly filtered, so it does feel like it's coming in through a car radio. Anyways. I can't help it. You know your dad's too good. That was my nickname back in high school. What, too good? That's a terrible nickname. I don't recall anyone calling him that. I will say he's still retained his style to some degree. I like how his hair is slightly different. Obviously the head shape is different because it's Gacha Life 2 and that's been adapted. And also his jacket feels very appropriate for a singer who is also a dad. So that kind of tracks. Said your nickname in high school was Music Freak. That was his nickname for everyone else. I don't think anyone ever really called... Did people call him Music Freak? I guess after he joined. But that was everyone's nickname. That doesn't feel like... Yeah. Also, this is years later, because it's next gens, which I assume is meant to be next generation, but it says gens plural, which is the part I was confused about. Ah, of course, yeah. I should have recognized it immediately because it was just called Tonight, because it's the intro of Music Freaks itself. So not even a different song, just literally the intro song for the actual series. I mean, that's one thing I was wondering, because, like, the Music Freaks has one thing in common with, like, other classic gacha musicals, that came before it, and that is the implementation of, pre-existing songs, which I have complained about at length because of how, that affects things and whatnot. And also the source of, my, a current changing of lyrics for the rehearsals for the pantomime that we're doing, and me trying to, let the musical director subtly know that, yeah, I know what I'm doing when I recommend cutting two specific words out of a line to make it flow better. Anyway, in the case of this, because I was wondering, the Music Freaks had like its advantage that it had, was that the songs that it chose like seemed like they were sung at least reminiscent of the main characters to a certain degree. That's why there were so few duets in the series. Because people other musicals them song break it down with making more sense just being just what you had in the days earlier. So I was wondering about like but in this in this case, I was wondering, okay, are we going to go back to them not fitting at all? I suppose Tonight, as much as it is a very obvious choice, it's a choice that makes a conscious for Jake. So based on it. So it's not very fair. Oh, wait, they were still moving. Okay, because the background wasn't moving, so I didn't realize until like they stopped the engine like that. Like, okay, sure, fair enough then. Oh my goodness. Also, you're saying ship Daisy and / Jake and Drew. Wait, Jake and Daisy. Oh, sorry, Jake and Daisy / Jake and Drew. I misread that. Okay, all right. Don't know. Oh, okay. I guess he just had had another child in the car. All right. Glad that was made apparent. Jeez. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I had something on the screen. Oh, and there's Rosie herself, because of course. Wasn't she like a student in the original one as well? Like her cameo? I guess he just kind of shows up out of the ether a lot of the time. Anyways. See how you like your new school. Mum and I will get pizza after. Yeah. You got this. Tonight! As he like leaves, I guess. Tonight! There we go. Oh, it does fade. Okay, the sound editing is the best part so far. Anyways, he's still blocked. Well, I mean, it's on the radio. It was literally... It wasn't like he chose to play his own music, which, full disclosure, I have also played my own music in the car a couple of times, and sang along to them, mostly when I'm on my own, actually. Exclusively when I'm on my own, actually. What is it? Why I said mostly. But in this case, it was just... They put his song on the radio, unless that was part of the track, the announcer at the beginning, which is kind of weird, but okay. Why am I evil? Why am I evil at playing my own music in my car? What's the problem with that? Anyway. He'll be the death of us. So, let me see your schedule. Okay, now it's a bit too quiet. It needs backup music of some kind. Where are you going first? I've banned first period. Okay, that's interesting, because this is the same school as the original Music Freaks, right? Supposedly. And band was not a lesson beforehand, was it? Or maybe it was, we just didn't see it. Oh yeah, I guess the music club themselves are doing, like, extra stuff. Yeah, they would have had band. Okay, fair enough then. Alright. Anyway, math second, chemistry third. Math versus maths, the old debate of whether or not the Music Freaks takes place in Britain or not. I still maintain that there are more reasons that it does take place in the UK rather than in the US. Anyway. Oh. Okay, I was going to say it's a good panning out shot until it just messed up the aspect ratio. Yeah, I got to be careful with that, I suppose. You've Gacha, I don't like this, but the proportions are off. Well, the proportions are off, that's the thing, just because it's Gacha Life 2. And you gotta be careful with Gacha Life 2, of course, because, you know, as much as I do enjoy at least, like, shrinking the heads of Gacha characters, I'm not usually a fan of, like, adjusting, like, their, like, you know, like, their head, their, like, chin structure, or, like, their dimensions or anything. I don't usually play around with those, because a lot of the time the Gacha style works at the very least with the proportions, even if you resize them a little bit. Usually. But yeah, this is Gacha Life 2. I mean, you can't get this customization level in Gacha in any other version of Gacha. That's the thing. And it might also be because you know, Gacha Life 2 is part of the branding of this, that the creator wanted to make sure that it was, like, obvious that it was Gacha Life 2, which admittedly, again, I have also done because of people above. But yeah, like, there's definitely a threshold, I would say, you know, where, you know, it's best not to go over a lot of the time. I don't know. From a distance, like, this pan shot here doesn't seem like anything's off, but then if you zoom in a bit more, I'll pay attention more to that when we continue. Which is almost to embarrass their kids at school, except Jake blasts his own music. Yeah, again, I blast my own music when I'm driving by myself, so, you know, that's never you know. There was Gacha Life 2, I rarely use it, I gave up on it. Well, if you've used it in the past, then you're able to remember what customization there actually was compared to other versions of Gacha. I mean, most notably, the eyes, you know, being able to go, like, as far as they are right now. That's one of my favorite features of Gacha Life 2, actually. In Gacha Club. Yes, that's true. Gacha Club does have, you know, weird proportions as well. You can do that. Especially, like, you know, people like Citrus Animations, for example, / Maya 2.0. But yeah, no, it's definitely hard to put your finger on it, aside from, like, pointing out the eyes and such, but also the chin structures. That's a Gacha Life 2 exclusive. The length of the neck is also not something you see often in Gacha Club, because you can't, like, move the head, like, that much further up. So that's the thing. You know, it's little things like that make it obvious. You know, the difference between, like some of the outlines and whatnot. Yeah, the high heads particularly. You only see that in Gacha Life 2 or in animated programs if someone forgets to adapt those. Such as in FAFSA, actually, because remember that one scene where the characters had their heads completely static and that their bodies were, like, cycling up and down with their shoulders bobbing like this as they moved? Yeah, that's part of it's not the same thing, because the head is still parented to the torso. But if you move it up too much, or if you try to move it out the way to adapt it, or you change the chin structure, you should adjust it accordingly afterwards. You know, to make sure that doesn't happen. Therefore, I might have good memory of towards age 3 to 5 when it comes to Gacha. They call that dementia. No, I'm kidding. They don't. Also, hello, Panda Official. I don't think I've seen you here in a while, actually. Hey, I found the... Ooh, Opal, look! Notice anyone? I mean, your finger's in front of my face, so I don't know. Ah! Yes, what the... Okay, on one hand, makes a lot of sense, actually. to have to have this like hung up here, Rosemeadow High School first place and everything. However, I'm hoping that if you zoom out, this bulletin board is like much more, because the bulletin board in Music Freaks was partly excused to like have the subscribe to Rosie Closey thing somewhere in the background that people later ripped off as well. But it had like other custom things as well, like going outside the school. This was an event that happened presumably like, at least like 15, 20 years ago or something by this point. You would think based on the age of, the next generation. So I'm hoping that it's paired up with other stuff, because it seems very focused on this one event, as if Rosemeadow High Schools had no other significant events that happened afterwards. I'm hoping that's not the case. And of course, you've got you would make sure you have everyone in here, because it's not obvious enough to anyone watching a Music Freaks fan series that this is a thing featuring the original Music Club, or like having callbacks to them. Okay, sure. Yep, all those people. Don't know why they don't get their separate pictures, but we'll... okay, sure, whatever. Wait, hold on, did Millie even get a picture? No, she did. Okay, she was the first one. So that's why he was so adamant about us going here. You mean you didn't know? Like, he didn't mention at all about the music club thing? Okay, sure. I think there's still a music club here. No, I'd love to win something like that competition. They're feeding onto the ship too much. Yeah, there was enough room, because there was like another picture of, Luke, Xander, and Millie that was just kind of there with no signatures or anything. Yeah. Replace that with a picture of like Jake or Haley, whichever one that comes out of that original picture, and that's it. Yeah. Grade 12 is definitely interesting phrasing, actually. Because again, I've talked about this in terms of, like how, I mean, usually you would say things, like year groups if it's like the case of the UK. In the case of the US, it would be grades. So that would be fair. If this was the original series, I would pose that as a reason behind behind this actually taking place in the US rather than UK. Going back to my old Music Freaks debate itself, but since it's a fan series, it might be just because again it was such a vague thing and people don't know what a head girl is. So Daisy's existence was, not really brought upon, I suppose. I don't know. Are you still losing your sanity? What, over the dementia line or the Gacha Life 2, or both? Speaking of Gacha Life 2, another thing that only happens in Gacha Life 2, you see those eye highlights here. Actually, I had this issue yesterday, because if you don't know, from Missions of Occulta, yesterday, Reactive, the thing we use for our PNG tubers, kind of stopped working. I had to update the links, but I didn't know that at the time. So I then I emergency made an image, I think also for the thumbnail of that video, and I had this exact same issue. Orchid, my character, was like closing her eyes, and then and the highlights were still there. So that's a thing, because the highlights are over a different layer of the eyes, and they didn't account for that when the eyes themselves were closed, because it's not like how it worked in Gacha Club, where it was the preset. This time, the closed eyes are actually part of the list of eyes. They couldn't do that anymore, which means you have to remember nowadays to take off the eye highlights, and that's an only Gacha Life 2 issue. So there you go. Glad that KW made me remember about that. I suppose very, very, very useful, very helpful. Clearly, no other reason why that came up again. Of course. Mm-hmm. You're forgetting I need to watch The Mutant Girl. Oh, I was talking about Missions of Occulta, the D&D series that I do on the Butter Bunch. But yes, watch The Mutant Girl. That's a better call. And we have recently moved to Gacha Life 2. So the most recent episode is, I believe, entirely Gacha Life 2. Or no, it's not. There are still some parts that weren't. Next episode will be entirely Gacha Life 2. I think so. Or maybe you'll just have to start a new one. It's a good thing, by the way, that, not every The both of them aren't both interested in music right off the bat, because you would have other interests to your parents. It makes a lot of sense. Fair enough. Oh, and KW is here. You've arrived.
Great. Whenever it's coming in, I cough. Anyways.
You did say sick KW, so I guess
Anyways.
You prepared everyone.
First of all, how dare you say anything about me having dementia, because Jacob, there's a lot of things that my mind does strangely. I will remember things from like many years ago. Like what McDonald's toy I have since 3 years old or something like that, right? But when it comes to anything new, just say anything brand new with like the tiniest of details, I would not notice these things. So yeah, Jacob, I did not know you can do a lot of stuff in Gacha Life 2 because I barely used it during when it first came out.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Granted, I also have that too, where my memory is very non-selective, so I'll just recall other events. It's just that that's also a thing that happens with people who have dementia, that they recall like a bunch of stuff from many years ago, but not what they had for breakfast that morning, while the tests to do. But yeah, no, full disclosure, I have that too.
I was gonna say to you, like, don't tell me you have a perfect memory. There's no way. You're not like Sheldon Cooper.
No, and even Sheldon Cooper contradicts himself a lot. Well.
You're not wrong. And also, I hate it like I don't have something to show a version of my like real life OC with a 6. I was like, you know what? Amia's wearing a mask in this picture. I'll use him to represent how sick I am.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, everyone's always wondering what's behind the profile picture, whether or not you're wearing a Sonic shirt or not. That's always the question when you come on stream.
Give me one moment. Hey, guys, what, Jacob?
So what's this? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I thought so. Also, is this just our custom like AI summary, like how we have on Twitch sometimes?
Just in case maybe.
Tune in. Here's the events. Last time on Gacha Review. I don't know.
Actually, let me check the actual last time I used Gacha Life 2, because I just realized this photo of Mia is the updated version of her, but in Gacha Life 2, so I might be actually wrong on the time of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember what you can do in Gacha Life 2 because like I said, I don't really use all that much.
Okay, well, I guess a different way to think about it is, what can't you do in the versions of Gacha that you are more familiar with, and then, although I guess that is, kind of nebulous because of how people do stuff in post. I suppose.
One of the things I know that you can't really do in Gacha Club, I guess, is well, wait, actually, no, I will scratch it because technically in Gacha Life 2, there's no, like, animation there, is there?
No, there are no more animated mouths. The animated poses you used to have were Gacha Life, Gacha Life 1 thing, and they got rid of those for Gacha Club, and then from Gacha Club, they kept the mouths, but then in Gacha Life 2, they never put the mouths back in.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one aspect of Mutant Girl that is from Gacha Club, because I take the mouths from Gacha Club and put them on the characters. It's as close as I will get to lip syncing, probably.
It's better than nothing, that's for sure.
That is true. The only Gacha Life 2 video I never did that for was for the people above, because part of what I wanted to do was make sure that entire video was made in Gacha Life 2, like not like as like no post-production like custom backgrounds or like other things features that weren't in the app. Make sure it's like a pure essence Gacha Life 2. Make sure it fully counts, and that it came out before Raiden's thing.
Yeah. Also, I still need to catch up on Mr. Occult. Like, you guys are so, like, into season 2 and whatnot. It's like, God, I need to catch up. And only like what, episode 3?
Yeah, no, there's a lot happening. Yeah, Orchid might have been
Okay.
romance cursed.
I
Also,
now remember.
nice call to one of my songs, I suppose. Because again, I've also blasted that song in the car. What do you reference there? Sorry, I
Okay,
cut
so
you off.
I lie. It's still technically still a while, but not that while. It was the beginning of 2025, January. That's the last time I used Gacha Live 2. No,
Fair
I
enough.
think that's when I posted some of the new character designs and for like book 1 designs of the characters. Well, obviously this outfit that Mia is wearing is technically not book 1 outfit, just because technically if you read the book, she does change her outfits a lot. So this specific one, we haven't really seen it. The behind the scenes reason is because I didn't know how to describe this particular outfit. So I was like, and I kind of wanted to save it because I feel like it was a good way to like have her wear this like for like the final book or something like that. So you will still get to like see it, or like, well, I mean, there's no pictures, but I guess describe it. You can see how I describe.
Sorry, no, that's not point. But I just had a really funny like visual of like the last book, where she's just like trying to like confront like Alexander, and is like, "Your time is at an end. I've had it with you. Switch off that machine now." And then Alexander just goes, "I'm sorry, but all I hear is." I just had that like appear in my head.
One of the things I will say is that I did the way I designed the mask or whatever. It's like she talks when the mask is not on there, or like she presses a button where the mask is off. Because yeah, one of the things like
it's kind of like Accelerate and Ben 10.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, just because like here's the I don't have problems with people talking in their mask or whatever, but I don't know how to describe it the way they talk through the mask, because like because you know it's a book, not like something like voice acting or whatever, where you can add like filters or whatever to show like the difference between when they wear
muffled,
a mask.
suppressed. Oh, you mean like the actual dialogue if it sounded different? Maybe.
Yeah. I guess I could say like the voice sounded like suppressed because of the mask, but I don't know. It just kind of I don't know. Sounds a little bit wrong. I don't know. But yeah.
I suppose. Yeah.
Plot twist. The next specific book is just a bunch of images of the gacha characters. I
mean, you never know. Maybe it'll become a comic someday.
Probably, yeah. If people want more visuals or whatever, yeah. I would never try and make a comic book, but it's basically what if Ninja Turtles meets Winx Club.
Okay. Honestly, as far as crossovers go, that one could actually kind of work, you know? They're both kind of secretive to some degree, and yeah, they obviously like have to do like underground threats, yeah.
Like there was like some plot twists where like something happened where Magical became like had fairy wings or something like that. I don't know. It was
that kind of combination. Okay, I thought you meant like the characters on like different factions would like meet each other. Okay, that one I'm not so sure about.
No. It's still technically a Winx Club crossover. It's just like at one point, I guess like my Angel ate something that was like fairy magic related or whatever, and that's how he got wings. And they're like, "Oh no, what have we done?" or something like I don't know. It was.
Good day, students. We have a new student here at Alfie Academy. Party on, dudes! What? You think that Michelangelo would have fit in a lot more with like the specialists, like that school particularly? But no, I guess Fairy Wings works a little better for screen time purposes, so to speak. Okay, are they called specialists in the English version?
Yes, they're called
okay,
specialists.
good, yeah.
Sometimes they say wizards too sometimes, just because.
Oh,
Well, I think it's because technically specialists are supposed to be quote unquote wizards, but like with technology. Yeah, I
okay.
don't know. Here's the thing. I am a fan of Wings Club, or like was, or something like that. Like it was my childhood, right?
Yeah.
I will
Honestly,
admit.
you just said Michelangelo ingests fairy magic and grows wings, and that made more sense than what you just said now.
Yeah, no, Wings Club has a history of like confusion, especially like when I was like watching it again and listening to like the dialogues and everything and the way they cut certain scenes. I'm like, you're wondering if you're watching for kids or not. That is really Wings. But here's the thing, what's even
I mean, you
worse?
say that. I think didn't 4Kids dub one of the versions actually?
Yes, that which is bad because Pulver's original and the first kids. Well, yes, in some ways they're different because the way they cut scenes and like the way they like change the dialogues. But I kept thinking the original version was the 4Kids version.
Well, I mean, it's an Italian series, so no version that you've seen is the original, most likely. So I don't know.
Well,
that goes right out the window.
I just meant not the one on Nickelodeon because there's like 3 different versions. We had the 4Kids, Nickelodeon, and the one that like was somewhere on America's TV. I don't know. Yeah, Wings Club has an interesting history. Just saying.
Yeah, apparently, because in Spain we just had the one version. You know, Aisha was Lila, and no one was any the wiser. No one had any controversy on the matter because we didn't know any different. Now just picturing the Winx Club taking a trip to the city where Turtles takes place and running into the turtle doing some work together. That's what I thought. Because as far as crossovers go, I mean, considering the Batman crossed over with them at some point actually, and that was an actual product that happened. Yeah, I can see that setup happening. Less so if the Ninja Turtles traveled to Althea, that wouldn't have worked. But the Winx Club traveling to them, yeah, that's how it would come together. Anyway, yeah.
I'm just saying, Jacob, if you need like another series to like do a deep dive lore on besides like My Little Pony, Wings Club might be a good one for you. Just because...
Well, it's not one that I'm diving into. It's not one I'm diving into fresh because I've seen up until like mid season 4 because that was what they were airing before I moved. So it's not like I have no knowledge on the matter. I guess the difference would be that I've never watched it in English.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You might have a fun more time using like the difference in the language.
Yeah, it's kind of like with Code Lyoko where like I spent like half the time with like the hangouts there with Aiden and Ghosty and sometimes Monet. They're just going over the Spanish dub differences. Because I've watched Code Lyoko so many times that I was like, yeah, no, I recognize this immediately. Winx Club I've watched fewer times over, but I still would probably be able to point out some things potentially. Who knows? Anyway. It was just a suggestion. Why is that are you that embarrassed about like an idea that, It was just a suggestion if you're interested in the matter. But yes, she's interested, of course. It's not a problem. An awesome suggestion.
Wait, what was the suggestion? I kind of forgot.
Oh yeah, no, we went off on a huge tangent, and the chat has definitely noticed. But no, the suggestion was to create her own music club if the current music club doesn't already exist, because they didn't check that actually.
Can KW voice like with you like can you? Actually, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and go just because, like I said, I've not been feeling great. But maybe sometime in the future, if like there's more episodes of this and I'm feeling a lot better, I will able to do that. But for now, I am actually gonna head off. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. You go ahead.
Take care, everyone. Stay hydrated.
Well, same to you. Got all things considered. Alright. And again, we've got the panning shot and zooming out to different aspect ratio. It seems like that's... It seems like the idea of panning away, okay, you got that, but think about like the destination of it. Actually, editing the shot in reverse might have actually worked a little bit better. Start off by the keyframe of this shot, and then like work backwards, zoom in, and then like go through, and then obviously that'll be synced up, and it'll be exactly what you need. That way, you can actually make sure that the big picture isn't this big. And there it is again. Yep. Okay, now she's shrunken significantly. This is an entirely different style. Like, that's... Well, not entirely different style, but it feels... I guess... I'm seeing this now, I guess it's to make sure they fit in the chairs, because that's always been a bit of a weird issue. Although I will say that, yeah, these chairs, like, they've always been, like, extremely short. I've actually tangled with this when I was making weather pops, actually. Because one of those things was like, oh yeah, I can actually do something that makes them interact with the backgrounds. The difficulty is determining whether or not you want the legs of the characters to reach the ground or to have the backs properly supported by the chairs. I usually opt for making them a bit larger and the legs being close to the ground so that, you can just say, okay, the chairs have really, short backs and that's it. That's how I tend to do it. So, there you go. Guess that's what happens when you move to a new town in your sophomore year. Good old exposition. Anyway. Good morning, everyone. Oh wait, no, this is this is Sean from the original series. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mr. Everett, and I'll be your band teacher for this year. I remember being very deep voiced, so I recognize some of you from last year. Heather, Ben, Maya. Okay, again, if the Music Freaks takes place in the UK, most of the time the year groups do not like mix up that much from one year to the next, unless you want to change like your like sets, because that might happen. But yeah. Alright, let's do attendance. Oh yeah, I recognize a bunch of people. Let's call their names now, immediately. Nadia Adira. Oh, we're actually starting with a surname that starts with A. Makes sense. And going straight to E. Less common, but this is a smaller class, so alright, fine. Eric Erickson, sure. E to F, so still going in alphabetical order. Okay. Oh, yep. Sawyer Gamboa is here. I guess people that they already know, you don't need to have them have their names. Nadia Chama, because I spell a name. I think it has like a J that like after the I. Nadija. I think that's the Polish spelling. Anyways, Opal Sterling. Here, sorry. No to apologize yet. The music was created by Scotty Back was created by Beverly Bloom. Co-written, okay, sure. Oh, you're saying like you want to see who edited, because you're talking about how I'm discussing editing techniques. Which, yeah, it's like it's Gacha review. I'm always gonna go over editing tips if I know them. But yeah. So that reaction, by the way, was more telling from Sean's perspective than it was from Opal's, because the fact that he's surprised to hear that that there's a Sterling and connecting that idea to Jake Sterling means they haven't stayed in touch over the years, which is realistic. I just didn't know if that was the angle they were going to go on, basically. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense, actually. And someone pointed out in the comments of this video that that Sean being the band teacher was also fitting. Which, yeah, I mean, he was the he was the coordinator, he was the tech guy. So, and he was the oldest that was there, so he was kind of like, the older sibling figure. So yeah, he absolutely, would be in a position to, continue passing down the knowledge and not dealing with, any stubborn leaders or their relatives. Santa, you know. Oh, okay. I thought she was gonna transform because her soul was flying away. I'm not sure why this image is now on screen. Who is this perspective from? Little baby. Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, all right. Okay, so in that case, they stayed in contact for a bit and then eventually kind of like lost touch. All right then, sure. You look just like your mum! And also Rosie Clossie! It's like looking at a mini Haley. Honestly, she does not look that much like Haley. It might be because of like the difference, like the bluish green hair versus like the full blue, but yeah, looking more like Rosie Clossie herself. But okay. Also, okay, just think how, like, instead of, like, covering up your face, which you can, by the way, cover up your face quite easily in Gacha, especially if you shrunken the head like they have here. That's not a much of an issue. Maybe just to show, like, what the eyes were, the eye effect was doing, but then now you just have a character who, for some reason, has, incidentally, backwards hands, because, but also, But also is like using them to shield herself like that rather than like that. I don't know. Yeah, though this, I wonder if Sean got with Daisy. I forget if they just see each other romantically or not. Yeah, that was kind of unclear. They had a scene together, which by fandom rules means they must be an OTP. But yeah, that was mostly just Sean like offering advice. They kind of like started to hang out behind the scenes, but. Yeah, there was nothing definitive, basically. So I guess it was more like one of those like open-ended things. Yeah, just being a friend. That's what I remember. There were a couple of moments where like they asked like after each other whenever there was when there were a couple of scenes when Daisy would come around to the music club every now and then. But yeah, again, beyond like those small moments, nothing much. As much as it pains me to say, Jake and Haley had more chemistry together and more romantic tension than those two ever did. Anyways, right, sorry. Wait, Becca? Becca after Sterling? What happened to the alphabetical order? There were still so many letters after that, just called David something else. David Trehan, I don't know, whatever. Basically social torture. Oh, okay, and like in a typical Gacha video, we always skip the lessons, even though it would have been very interesting to see like what kind of like band lesson, Sean would be able to teach, considering he was mostly like, he was mostly tech-oriented anyway, so him being like more into like, classical instruments teachings would have also been a novelty, but alright. Anyways, hey, Opal, right? Yeah, little baby Opal. Wow, look at their head differences. My goodness. Yeah, so, you new here? How you know Mr. Sean? I thought he introduced himself as Mr. Everett, but I guess Mr. Sean now, because maybe he's got more comfortable with them after like an hour? What? Okay. Anyway, he's an old friend of my parents. And your last name's Sterling, right? Like Jake Sterling? Yep, that's my dad. I mean, okay, I could say that this is like a weird thing to point out because, obviously celebrities out there will definitely have the same last names as others, Like off the top of my head, I can think that there was a kid in the year below me called Jorge Ortega instead of no reason to Jenna Ortega because I mean she wasn't even a celebrity back then, but still no relation to my knowledge either way. That being said, I do remember that that the first day of the first day of secondary school that I had in the UK, I was asked if I was related to Chris Brown. I didn't know who Chris Brown was at the time, and I'm not better off now for knowing that information. But that was that was the first thing. It was like, oh, okay, well, I guess same last name, so there you go. But no, that's not not at all how it works. But people do ask that question, so it makes sense, and they happen to be lucky this time. Yeah. My good old dad. I forgot who that is too. That's probably that's better off. Anyways, father. You know what? Actually, who'd be a great voice for Opal? Ghosty. Ghosty would have been able to sell the idea of, like the awkwardness, like, yeah, like good old father. Yes, like that. That felt like a Ghosty delivery, even though she's not even here. Maybe I'm a loser. Oh wait, no, hold on a second. No, that would have been a good Kenobi moment. You know why? Because I'm a loser. I'm a loser. I don't know if she's still here. She might just gone off completely. Anyway, I've heard some of his songs on the radio, specifically the one that they played just recently. He's got some good ones. I mean, yeah, obviously Charlie Brown is another example, but as far as people who aren't fictional and therefore could be related to me, but no. I guess it runs in the family. You guess? Wait, why would you guess that? You don't know anything about her. You just met her right. Oh, wait, because they just had band practice and we didn't see it. Okay, yep, fine, all right. It's not even just his eyelids. Every time that we get a preset for Opal, the same thing happens. That's one thing that the creator did not account for, is how the highlights remain on every single character. That's why I didn't point it out. Well, I pointed it out once, but not again. My sister and I both do music stuff. Oh, so, but he wants to bring up music club. Okay. But I mean, I would have thought if you both do music stuff, that would be a great thing for both of you to do. Surely. Anyway, awesome. I love music. It'd be great to be part of something like that. They're having better success now than originally. I'm wondering actually if that generation of the music club actually broke the taboo around music, or was it just that particular group of friends that kept on calling them music freaks, and it wasn't it was the full school. I thought it was the full school really, because no one else wanted to be associated with them. Maybe at least. Hard to say, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Oh god, I did it again. Did what? You're fine. You like music. That's a good thing. Or is it again that the taboo is still on and he's an exception to the rule, maybe? I don't know. Sorry, I get way too excited over stuff like that. No, I get it. Yeah, I'm just passionate. It's totally understandable. Yeah, I agree with Opal. It is totally understandable. Really? Yes, really. I like how now she's become the reassuring one, even though she's also very, very shy. Although this does something that reminds me. Remember when we had that Music Freak spin-off starring Elliot for a couple of episodes? And after the I have no friends, but that's okay song, that one. After that, there was a couple episodes. We reviewed those a while ago. If anyone remembers those videos, you'll remember that I talked about how a lot of people in the comments seem to be specifically like relating to Elliot quite a lot. You know, because you know, as Monet said back in the day, a lot of people who watch gacha videos or make gacha videos, statistically speaking, are quite shy individuals, and a lot of the time are quite lonely. That's not me saying that that's, you know, a statement on all of us, but that's you know, largely where the demographic lies. So of course he's a more relatable character. And it just made me think that, you know, one of the things that I like about the Music Freaks is because I kind of like related to Jake a lot more. In the sense that I've been torn between several friendship groups, you know, quite a few times. I remember my two best friends in the equivalent of 3rd grade, by the American system. You know, they hate each other's guts, and they were constantly fighting over, you know, me specifically, and rather like, you know, who got to spend time with me, basically. So I kind of I got why Jake was like towing the line as much as he was, you know, and also, you know, the fact that he was not like, you know, he was a break from the norm in terms of, you know, like the super shy characters. Not to mention I have also, you know, I've also learned how to play cool, you know, around crushes specifically, but, you know, and freaking out on the inside rather than on the outside. So, you know, in general. But I'm just wondering, I bring this all up, not to tell another one of my stories, Ace, I saw that comment earlier, but because that was a difference from, you know, that was like another thing that broke the formula of gacha, like one of the things that, you know, the subtle subversion the Music Freaks actually did. So going back to this version, even though Elliot already kind of like did that, it's a contrast and also a return to form. So on one hand, it's kind of genius to have a shy character in this setting, and on the other hand, it's very cliche. I don't know which one I would have gone for personally if I wanted to, like, you know, keep the essence of how the Music Freaks operated. I guess like having the two sisters and having them contrast each other would be the best way to go about that. But I don't know. Let me know if you're watching the VOD, let me know in the comments of this what you think about that, because I feel like there are no wrong answers in this case. Also, apparently this kid's dad might be Drew. It's entirely possible. Anyway. Wow, you're like me if I was a lady. That's one way of describing it. What instrument do you play? Well, I guess whichever one she played that impressed you earlier. Like that one, the mellophone, for example. Oh, I play tenor sax. I'll see you around, Sawyer. Okay, bye, Melly. Oh, wow, he's already got a nickname. Opal. I mean, Melly for mellophone, I kind of get it, sure. Alright, then. We've got Jake's confidence and Opal. Sister got Jake's confidence and Eddie's shyness. Potentially. Another thing, actually, is that, you know, a lot... when you think about, like, how, like, you know, like, Gumball and Anais got, like, the exact, like, opposite appearances to their parents, specifically to, like, you know, that of, like, the matching genders to them. You know, like, Annie looks more like Richard and Gumball looks more like Nicole. So, yeah, sometimes they have to, like, I would say, either mix that up a little bit more, or because, I mean, having, like, just a clone, or... I'm hoping that something like a case of, like, one's a clone of Jake, one's a clone of Haley. I'm hoping to see, like, how they stand out more compared to, like, how they're similar, you know. Because, again, you know, you're playing around with next generations, they're not going to be the same. If anything, that's the most common moral behind a lot of next generational stories, is they you know, they don't necessarily like live up to what their parents did, but they find out that the good ones make sure they find their own path in life, you know, rather than the ones that like try to just make them like exceed them in whichever thing they were already doing. So, you know, I mean, well, his first name is Sawyer. So his name, if his last name was Sawyer, it would be Sawyer Sawyer. I think his last name started with G, but I don't know. Now this is some background music. I wonder what the younger brother did, actually. What he got from Jake and Haley. Okay, interesting to have the shadows. That's it. That's another thing I did in Gacha Life 2. Not because it was Gacha Life 2, you could do it in any Gacha version, but the idea of like having a shadow like looming over a person so that you don't have to like, you know, layer them or like have them just like, cut across the camera. Anyway, Aurora over here. And other girl, I guess. I guess whichever one of you isn't Aurora can go away. Anyway, Laura, you finally moved. Where's Opal? Oh, you know her, probably hiding. But I don't know you, who's this? This is Naomi, she's one of my friends. Come on, Mimi, you're not that shy. Oh, so they both have they both have a shy friend slash sister to offset them. Okay, that's a clever parallel, sure. Just like that one singer. Big Sterling? Well, I should hope so, is my dad. I could say I should hope so, as if, like, you know, not looking like him would be, like, that much of a pain. Especially considering that Opal doesn't look like him. That was kind of weird phrasing, but anyway. Yeah, what? I was looking for that. He's seriously your dad? Lauren's my cousin. She's the real deal. Wait. Oh, I guess this is a new friend, so she wouldn't have known about, I guess, you know, uncle. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, okay. So if she's Lauren's cousin, that suggests that she's either the child of Jake's younger brother, whose name I've forgotten, but more likely, considering what she looks like, more likely, potentially Luke and Xander via some form of surrogacy with Luke's genetics. Or just adopted, that would also work. I don't know, I'm just saying because, like, the hair similarities. There we go. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Exactly where I was coming out of that. Yeah. Oh but so one did come. Well, it came out more than 5 years ago. It was April. I distinctly remember because, you know, I was like, I was paying attention to that kind of thing. Oh wait, no, it was April. Yeah, which is like 1 year after Rosie Closey first started her channel. There you go. Anyway, hey, wait, that means all our families are connected. Oh, don't tell me you're also descended from somebody. Are you Millie's secret love child? Anyway, they were all in the old music club together. Really? Ah, okay, yeah. I mean, again, Sean was the more obvious choice, as but you know, I wanted to keep the options open because we haven't seen Millie's one yet. Hey, my dad's the band teacher. He was like a producer or something back then. Then there's Aurora's dads, and now your parents. But basically, they're connecting the dots to the entire old club, except one former member. Rumor has it that she threw her husband out of a window before she was able to. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, knowing how this series is probably structured, I imagine that Millie and Elliot got together, and maybe if they do have a child, maybe they're in the gardening club or something. That's probably my guess. I don't know. Or they're right there. Get away from me! Leave me alone, you psychotic freak! Well, there's our answer. There's our answer right there. Okay. Potentially not doing much gardening, per se. Except for growing these hands, am I right? But I don't know. Mm-hmm. And yes, again, Sean was the obvious option. I was keeping options open. I wanted to be a contrarian. Anyway. Don't act so innocent. If you had just kept your mouth shut,
Your locker wouldn't have had a U-sized dent in it.
I wasn't even talking about you. You need to mind your own business.
His business is my business.
Do you think it's a little pathetic? He's sending you to fight all his battles.
You know nothing about him, so quit talking as you want next dibs.
It's more like it's kind of like a Randy Savage knockoff, I'm thinking.
You're going straight down. You want first dibs. You want another dent in your locker. We'll keep talking like this, brother.
You're so obsessed with that kid. Why just leave us alone? Dead.
I told you to shut up.
What's going on here? I saw enough of this behavior from your mother. I was hoping I wouldn't see it from you too. Oh, I guess this is like Mr. Strickland from Back to the Future. Just like your father, McFly, he was a slacker as well, and all that. Yeah. Oh, thank God, help us! This widow went crazy on us again. Chance, why don't you and Christine go to the nurse? I'll take care of this. Okay, wait a second. There's something that went wrong with this visual. I want to just go back. Okay, here we go. All right, so I see what you're trying to do, because again, there are two options when it comes to having characters move, and they do work in tandem sometimes. If you see behind the lockers were moving, were moving in the opposite direction while they were staying still, suggesting that they were moving across the screen, which is fine. You can do it that way. Also, look at that, a little bit of chroma key outlining here, but whatever. Problem is, if you do that kind of thing, and you have the characters that are static there, also scrolling across the screen way faster than the lockers are, it makes it seem like this, that instead of just them walking, the characters are sliding on wax. Now, I do recall saying that the floors in in this school were in fact, very finely waxed. Mostly because you could see the reflection of the characters on the back on the floor, and that was one of the big editing celebrations people had. Even though it's actually a very simple reverse shot kind of thing. Yeah, you see it. Well, in that case, chat. Pop quiz here. How do we fix a situation in editing where you need everything to move at the same speed and you don't want several different layers working against you? What do we do in that scenario? We'll give an imaginary point to the first person who tells me what editing fix that you apply. There we go! Point goes to Ghost Kitty. Figurative gold star for you. You've been paying attention, and also comes up everywhere in Gacha. Anyway, still sliding. Need Bond slide whistle to come in. Oh, is this the first? Is this the first music number in this show?
When I was a boy, a violent boy, I loved to throw these hands. Around they said I was the devil of red, and obeyed my every command.
I don't know. This is what happens when you don't stay in your place. Baxter, every day after school you'll be doing a week's worth of remedial work. Wait, a week's worth of remedial work every day? Why not just do a day's worth of remedial work for a week? I expected better of you. Do you know just how close you are to getting kicked off student council? Why is he on student council? That is alone should have been grounds for disqualification. What? You don't want to be replaced as vice president now, do you? I mean, again, what slightly more naturalized position, fair enough. Oh, also another thing that I appreciate here, you see like those lines up there, like the forehead outlines and as such. I've said before, it's very difficult to convey age in gacha, specifically old age. So the fact that we're able to like convey wrinkles in a natural form, and even like the bags on the eyes as well a little bit, it actually, it goes a long way. Yeah. 3 wrinkles particularly. I like crush a card to him. Well, this is one connection that I wasn't expecting. So, alright then. I know actually like a difference between Baxter and well, Baxter's his last name, I guess, and between Chance and Millie actually is that Millie had a bit of like a contrast to her. She was very like small and not and seemingly not very like intimidating until you actually like get to know her. And she also had like a bit like a positive like streak to her. We haven't seen anything of that so far with Chance, but he's actually a bit more he's definitely like much more like like bulky and physically intimidating compared to his mother. If anything, Millie actually was kind of like the reverse of Ivan from Miraculous, where Ivan is is like very is very like bulky, and you think that he be that he be that like the aggressive type. He's actually a gentle giant, versus Millie, who was the direct opposite. In this case, Baxter definitely is much more. He's what Ivan was. What Ivan would be like visually if people just saw him. Yeah. Is the black hair Zoe's kid or Leah's kid? Very possible. Not entirely sure. I mean, I will say, this is one pitfall in terms of a Next Generation series that I find a lot of the time, is that every character of importance happens to be like, the son or daughter of somebody from, somebody from the previous generation. And yeah, of course, you're going to have a lot of those people, but you're also, but also you should keep your options open and like just have other characters who aren't directly related to like anyone who was in that view. Like that's why I thought like Naomi was going to be like, oh hey, like nice like separate friend. Oh, never mind. She's Sean's daughter. Sure, why not? Yeah, it's just one of those things where like I like the mixture. Then again, it's kind of like I talked about this before, but I've written a couple of fan fictions in my time. One of them was Teddy Lupin in the Vale of Cadmus. It was a Harry Potter fan fiction based on Teddy Lupin, and I think he was actually the only canon character that had that was born in like his particular year. So his first year at Hogwarts was he wasn't like paired up with anyone else that was that was like the child of any significant person. So I invented an entire roster of I still have this spreadsheet, by the way. I made a spreadsheet of everyone in his year group and just gave them a bunch of like different names. I gave them some of them, of course, because of how like wizard families work. Some of them were related to others, by extension, but no one like that directly. So. Yeah, I wrote fan fiction. If you're if you're interested, maybe I'll find the link to at the end of this video. But yeah, specifically for Teddy Lupin, like, and what I did was because it was still Next Generation thing, I balanced that out by like anytime there's like I got to the Christmas holidays and I didn't actually finish it, unfortunately. But we saw like actual Harry, Ron, Hermione in different scenes. We saw we saw Andromeda, who was what who canonically raised Teddy. A lot of like canon characters in other scenarios, other settings, basically. So yeah, there is that. That's where like I kind of like did the balance. If there had been other characters who were born the same year, then yeah, I would have done something else with that. But I guess but I guess one of the things in like actual Harry Potter canon, you have not everyone is not everyone is the same, that they're the same age, or like all everyone's kids are the same age as everyone else, so it doesn't quite work that way. Because you think also another thing with Next Generation series is that in order to make the whole thing work of like everyone's descended from everyone, they're all in the same class, that means that everyone, that everyone got pregnant and gave birth roughly around the same time period, which is statistically very unlikely. So that's another reason why, if I do ever make a Next Generation thing for something, then then most likely if I include like other characters who don't canonically exist, unlike the Harry Potter ones, then I will probably just like scatter their ages a bit, and see what that does to the story. And who knows, maybe even just like have a main character who's not safe from anyone but interacts with a bunch of them. That would also be another like unique angle to go by. I'm gonna keep that one in the back pocket, actually. As for this idea, this is also another idea. It's good to see the fanfic, the saturation of music freaks, but instead of being children of TMF characters, they were just kids who were inspired by them. Yes, that I also like. That applies to like other scenarios, incidentally, where this is actually like another, I guess, anecdotal story. Long before I wrote fanfiction, but my brother and I, like in one of our many make believe games, we actually had like a long ongoing Pokemon series that we used to make believe all the time, basically whenever like we were out or something, like in house or anything. And my character in that one was a guy named Derek, who was actually a disciple of Ash, not related to him. Eventually, my brother introduced characters who were related to him, and like every now and then we'd interact until he kind of like clumped them all together towards the end, and I had to remind him of like everyone who was in the scenes, because of course that's my thing, always about the continuity. So yeah, like I side with that. I think I was actually 10 years old. I was perfect Pokemon license age when I started doing that. So yeah, basically that idea I also really enjoy. Other people who related to him. His character eventually, his main character, he swapped a bunch of them. I stayed the same throughout. His first character he actually made up turned out to have been Ash's father. So he did eventually make a thing of like, oh yeah, significant thing, significant like source of excitement to be like, oh yeah, this is a person who's related to Ash in some way, and that was like a whole thing. So that was like a disparity between us. He sided with like one side of the idea, Next Generation, and I was like the other. But it kind of worked. But my point is, it worked in conjunction. It worked together. I guess you have two people on the different extremes, and I've been finding to some sort of balance in terms of like I guess Morwenna, the pair from Puppy Love, Nathan and Darius. I forgot their names, and Emily and Shorty's child. Yes, I remember you doing that. Although I don't remember them being like in any specific, like fan series of any kind. And if they were, I'm sure that if they were, they wouldn't be like in conjunction with like an Agatha and Julius, child of some kind or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, keep that idea, because that would also be like a really good fan series in general. And I'll think of something like, oh yeah, if I ever return to fanfic writing, hey, that'd be a good idea to do something where's the main character who's interacts with a bunch of Next Generations and not one themselves. I like that. Or a fan gacha series, you never know. You never know. Anyways, Miss Jones. Oh, perfect. Hello, Luna. Would you be a dear and take Baxter to detention for me? I wouldn't leave Baxter alone with any students. He was just about to like beat up another girl. I don't know why you think that, but maybe she's more capable of like keeping a handle on him or defending herself or something. I don't know. Anyways, crazy. That was terrifying. Just who is that? It's strange I haven't heard of him yet. Ah, yes, it's strange that you, a new student, would not have heard of him. That's Baxter Brooks. He's notorious for being a major pain. A major French shower. And yet he's crazy popular. Okay, that I don't believe. Why would anyone be friends with him? It's bad news. Just be mindful around him. Baxter Brooks, huh? Okay. Why was she smiling at that? Is she trying to get like is it a like exclusive next generation thing? Imagine if there's just this one kid just wants to like take part in the music club and it's like, sorry, legacy students only. Can you imagine? Now that is a good bulletin board. I can't read all of it because it's the screen's too small. Oh wait, no, well, never mind. I can full screen. Yeah, you think you are cringe. Something to the team. The hated child with Jake's face. Okay, interesting. And then something else. I know. StreamYard isn't big enough for me to like read everything, unfortunately. But yeah, sure. And wow, okay, that I would slow down everyone's walking there. They were all way too fast. Anyway, mechanics, sports medicine, video game club. Well, maybe we can do this tomorrow. We could just go home. What about the pizza Dad promised? The hater child. Yeah. What was Jake's nickname in school again? I don't think he was. He definitely wasn't entirely honest, was he? Anyway. Do you want to find out about Dad's high school musical fantasy life or what? Well, you can do that by asking him, by going home and talking about him directly. What she's trying to do is not find out. She's trying to, like, recreate it. But who better to ask than the people who were a part of it? Doesn't make any sense. I don't know. What if this isn't what you think it is? Come on, you can go home if you want to. I'm finding this. Finding what? I mean, you could just ask someone for like the music room or something, or if there is a music club. I don't know. I guess that's one person we haven't seen, by the way. Assuming that Naomi isn't also Daisy's child, we haven't seen anyone who's like the Daisy equivalent in this story yet. So like no one who is like the head girl of any kind, or someone you could or head boy maybe, or someone you could ask for help and who'd be like a outside support to the music club. We haven't seen that person yet. Ah yes. Fade the background because it takes too long for the character to walk across, okay. And once again, people sliding across the screen faster than the background is going. Yay! Sorry, I wasn't watching where I was going. No, it's okay, they weren't there before. Ah, they're the offspring of that one creepy girl that was able to quiet down a class by talking more quietly than they would be able to hear her in. I still remember that scene, jeez. He's part of the student council. Yeah, plot twist, he's actually Millie and Daisy's child and not Millie and Elliot's. Anyway. Totally fine, I have the same habit. To know. I'm Lauren, I just moved here, and yet I was expected to know the most popular guy that everyone hates and fights everyone. Clearly, people did not think through the fact that I moved here, so I'm going to reiterate that for everyone now. I'm Mateo, and this is Luna. Okay. 2 Spanish names. Fair enough. Cool. What are you guys doing? Why are you standing in front of this door? Ah, their student council. Alright then. And we're on lookout. This is the old music room. Not many students go in here anymore, so the music club has been gone. Ah, so they did shut it down. It's basically a free makeout spot. Okay, that's fun, to make sure no one goes in. Plot twist. What if they make out? Assuming they aren't, like, siblings or cousins or something, who knows? Ooh, can I go in? Sorry, but didn't you hear him? They probably think she wants to make out with someone now. That's your path. Oh, so there is a music club. Okay. Don't worry, I'm an official member by the transitive property, I guess. I'm also the only member. Wait, hold on. So they just said that unless you're a member of the music club, you can't go to the music room, implying that they know of music club members and let them into this room, which in turn implies that there is a music club. And her reaction is to say that she's the only member of a music club that she is convinced doesn't exist, despite the fact that they just heavily implied it does exist, and she thinks this is going to work. And it does, because of course it does. Do you have the principal's permission? I'll get her permission. I'll get it right now. See, do that first next time. She's going to be in for a rude awakening. Oh, wait a second. Is Daisy the principal? That would be kind of fitting, but also not at the same time, because Daisy was not entirely happy with her role as head girl, actually. Like, she felt like it was too much. I could honestly see Daisy, you know, kind of like spiraling later on, like in her 20s particularly, maybe like trying to recompose like in her 30s, like we should be now. I don't know. Yeah, she's not me, she's just a nice woman. Well, again, I mean, it's been 15, 20 years or however long it's been. Oh wait, no, wait a second. They said it's 2045, so it's 20 years from now. Which suggests that it's been, you know, it might be 25 from Original Music Freaks, assuming it takes place in the year that it first aired, which we don't know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but yeah, a lot could happen in that time to different people. But then again, I also kind of think that, yeah, Daisy not being in a position of any authority anymore would also make sense based on what she was going through during that time. That's right. Who knows what'll... Got it. I don't know who that signature is, so I guess we'll never know. Lauren Sterling may start... Oh, wait, did she forge that? She might have forged it. Zoe is... Maybe. Well, go right ahead. Good luck with your club. And no making out, I guess. We won't keep watching anymore. And, okay, this is where you do the callback to the Tonight song. This is where it makes a lot more sense. Also, one thing as well, Rosie Closey, like, I know drew, like, all the backgrounds for the original series, but these backgrounds particularly, I know that somebody, Ghost Kitty pointed out before, there's, like, someone who was in charge of backgrounds for this. Like, it keeps, like, the idea of the simple backgrounds, or the simple, like, you know, the simple walls of stuff that I desperately need to include in my own stuff, and I keep forgetting to do so. You know, like all of these backgrounds are, like, very simple shapes, but they are fitting ones nonetheless, and also a good, you know, reason for, you know, being able to play around with angles, you know, should the time arise. This show hasn't really done that too much yet. But I also, of course, have got to appreciate the fact there's an open door in anything Gacha related, and that this is reminiscent of the music club room. It makes sense that the everywhere else would have changed even slightly, because again, it's been such a long time, buildings get renovated. But considering that this room particularly has not been used a lot since, I guess, like a long time ago, it being mostly the way that it was, we remember it in the original series, also would be a very poignant and very logical thing to happen. Does this club begin? Oh, I guess we don't hear it, but alright. And there they are! Okay. Oh, and see, look, Millie is also the same height as her son. That also makes a lot of sense. Okay, this also is a good montage. It'd be like, okay, this is where they all are now with a bit, we're not drawing too much focus because we're focusing on the new characters, but here are the old ones and here what they're kind of up to some degree. That's probably the best and most tasteful way to do this kind of thing, I think. I presume that is actually Daisy. So, there you go. Mystery solved. And also good contrast between like how Luna was depicted. And Luna being on the student council as well, because Daisy was on that. Yeah, okay. Alright. Ah, good to see those three are still hanging out. Daisy, really? I can't tell if you're excited or not based on your reactions. Is she strangling that bear? No, she's not strangling that bear, never mind. And of course, because Drew was not approving of the music club before, he's not approving of his son. That's actually a good parallel, but I would have thought by this point Drew would have been like more warmed up to it, considering that he would have like grown out of it. Well, I guess not. Ah, nice timing as well, this. And it's ruined now. And there's them, yes. That paper's a different color. That's not the same. Did you forge two signatures? What are you doing? Also, I'm surprised that. Also, I would love to see like if Opal was just eating pizza in the background of this shot, actually. Yeah, close enough. Oh, that's why it's different. Who is she posing for? There's no one there. Okay. Yes, the title card thing we just watched, thank you. Alright. Well, yeah, fourth or breaking, yeah, it's for us specifically. Yeah. Alright then. Liam and Henry yeah, you wouldn't have thought considering like how girl-focused they both were. Sure, I guess. Alright. Yeah, everyone kind of got paired off, and yeah. There's that pitfall. One thing I'll add, because I know I was lagging before, so I didn't make this point. I was curious in this how they were going to adapt like the music aspect of this. Because one of the major draws of the Music Freaks was the fact that it had musical numbers, and more polished, edited ones than the Gacha musicals that came before it. So, I was specifically asking like about the choice of songs. Because the fact that it's like is not voiced, but Music Freaks had the distinct advantage of even I know I complained a lot about the about the songs that Rosie Closey used at the time, and like how like a lot of them didn't like quite fit, or they weren't or they weren't like super like appropriate for the situation, and led themselves to a lot of confusion in certain areas. But they at least had the advantage of like, okay, you could see whichever person was singing. You could imagine that being their voice, basically. That was what I think like elevated it above like musicals that came before it, aside from production and voice acting and all that stuff. So I was wondering if this series that went back to there being no voice actors, which I don't normally point out. I personally, like I've said before, I don't mind if stuff is or isn't voice acted. To me, it makes not much difference. If there is voice acting, I'll criticize that. But if there isn't, I also get it. And it just is more about like how the visuals convey more things because they need to carry more information. But yeah, in the case of this, I was worried that that having no voice actors would mean we go back to like that old style and having the songs, not even match vocally, let alone lyrically. Was I expecting original lyrics? No, absolutely not. But, like at least that aspect, there was something there that maybe I didn't give the Music Freaks enough credit for during my reviews of it, admittedly. But yeah. With that in mind, with that in mind, yeah, this is kind of what I imagined a fan series to be, to a certain extent. I also kind of pictured that, you know, somebody. I know that a lot of people have made fan content for the Music Freaks, particularly, and a lot of it is, you know, like the old landscape style screenshots, gacha. But this one actually, you know, made its best attempt, aside from voice acting, to emulate, you know, like the visuals of the Music Freaks, to add their own Gacha Life 2 spin to it, which maybe went a little bit too far in some places, but I can appreciate it because, you know, the Music Freaks never got to Gacha Life 2, so yeah, aside from the spin-off, I think. But yeah, like even like the visuals and the, you know, the backgrounds particularly, and keeping and having like some sort of spin on what future characters would actually have, like what their descendants would actually, you know, kind of get up to, because, you know, obviously there's not going to be like much of it. There's an identical parallel, but some of the time there will be just enough distinctions in there. Like, yeah, this has potential, even in this setup where I say, you know, maybe I would have set it up differently. With this setup, still, you have even the same like ideas and archetypes, but they're not the same people. And I guess they haven't had the same like upbringing and life experiences before, and there's not the same perception around the music club. What I am wondering is what's the conflict going to be, because the Music Freaks had two main conflicts. You know, there was the whole like overarching idea of, you know, Jake balancing his two friendship groups, and actually like pursuing his passion and trying to atone for the sins of his past. And you also had you know, him helping out like the individual members of the club for certain episodes, up until I guess like the last third, where, you know, things started like, you know, coalesce together, and, you know, it was time to bring the attention to the actual competition. And both of those things work with each other, because there's like there's different obstacles. If anything, the B plots served, you know, Jake's larger goal of atoning himself and getting the trust of the music club itself. So a lot of that that means there's like there was not just the goal of the music club itself doing their things, because given that we didn't have a musical number this episode or much, and we skipped band practice, the music itself does not seem to be the focus of this. And even in the Music Freaks, it wasn't like, aside from like the non-diegetic numbers, it was not always you know, super explored, but it was there. It was like the focal point that like everyone coalesced around, and we didn't get that this episode, which means that we need something. We need some sort of obstacle to overcome. If she's able to forge potentially, or just get the actual principal signature and like found the club again that easily, that's great. That's a satisfying ending to the first episode. But what about the larger story? The first episode is supposed to set up the conflict for the rest of the series, or some idea of where it's going to go. So, you know, take Mutant Girl, for example. You know, it does wrap itself up in a neat bow, like at the end, but it also shows that, okay, she's you know, Moana's at a new school now. She's been introduced to like the main rivals right in the last scene, but she does have a group of friends, and she wants to like go a little bit under the radar. But that's basically almost impossible. So we have the positive force, the negative force. We don't know how she's going to react to either of them yet. The following episodes tell us precisely that, and that is where the story kicks off. Yeah, I know you've never watched it. I'm just summarizing it, the first episode, so you know what you're getting in for. Actually, you know what? If after this video you check out episode 1, you tell me if you think you'd be more invested in in finding out like what happens next in the Mutant Girl compared to what happens next in this fan series. Because again, I feel like I'm biased because I wrote it, but I feel like that series set up more things to come in the future than just, okay, the club is back. The club is back, because everyone seems to be like on board with this. The only thing I guess they could do is, again, focus on the music itself and, have a bit more of like an actual, and not living up to the expectations of like, okay, this is what, our parents all gelled so well together, but we're essentially glorified strangers. Maybe they could go that direction. But considering how little focus music got this episode, I don't see that really happening. Because again, if you take Music Freeze episode 1, we get well, not only just Jake's like actual audition, but we get the first musical number about him wanting to take part in music, and Daisy as it catches him and all that stuff. So the music actually sets everything up in motion. It's very much tied to the story. So yeah, that's the main thing this is actually kind of missing. We have the freaks, but we need the music. So yeah, my fanfic, the main character will be sort of based off me. My stage fright was inspired by Eddie overcome stage fright and his friend's encouragement. Oh yeah, I forgot. I was actually going to I don't have time to get the link up. I don't think because it might not. I see where it might work. Let's see. Yeah. Fanfiction.net. I don't know if I can find it without logging in myself, or if like that to navigate. It's not loading. It's not loading. Okay, sorry. Okay, I guess for the fanfiction, if you go into fanfiction.net, not fantfiction, that's not a place, and then you look up Teddy, Lupin, and the Veil of Cadmus. That's oh, that's right. Ace in the Discord server. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Okay, fine. I'll do it that way. But yeah, for now, I guess if you want to check out the Musical first episode and compare, I would appreciate that to see if my point still stands. But otherwise, to everyone else watching this VOD who's already seen that, obviously a visual link to this video is in the description. So we'll see if you can survive that without so many tangents from me and from KW. So yeah, for now, please leave a like or dislike because your opinion matters. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. And on that note, until next time, farewell for tonight.